Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. And GST payroll all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's
Kevin J. Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show, episode number 105. Live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on freedomreport.ca. We do apologize in advance for us being late. Well, hey, for me being late, everybody. We got a brand new studio. I'm tired of presenting, excuse me, in front of this white wall here. I've been installing drywall and I've been installing soundproofing now for the last week in our new 2,000 square foot office. It's looking fantastic. We're going to be moving into it very soon. That is why I'm late. I looked at my phone. I yelled, egad. Well, it wasn't egad. It was a bunch of profanity, realizing, oh man, the show was supposed to start 15 minutes ago. That's how long we worked at the office today to get the whole thing built up. This is your questions answered once again. So the whole show is going to be you asking questions about taxes and me answering them for at least the next 80 minutes. Woo! And for those who are wondering, yes, I'm still buying Instagram channels and I'm still buying YouTube channels and I'm still buying TikTok channels. I'm sorry about the coughing. There's been so much drywall dust kicked up. I'm just going to cough all night, I'm sure. All right, everyone, let's get right into it. So in the Rumble room here, 1 second. There we go. The show is up and running. So how long have I been involved in taxes in Canada? Well, full-time, excuse me, full-time, it's been actually for the last 2.5 years straight, just 14, 15 hours every single day. Once in a while, I take a day off. It's not very many. It's been 30, maybe 31 days off in the last 2.5 years, but it's been absolutely worthwhile. I built a multi-million-dollar business outside of Canada. Yes, I am resentful that I was unable to work this hard and actually make money in Canada, because Canada does not appreciate anybody with drive and ambition. In fact, that country will crush anyone who has drive and ambition. I had to come to Panama to become a millionaire. I'm very happy that I did. Panama has been very good to me. It's been very good to a lot of gringos, actually. So to answer your question, I've been studying taxes now since I was 13. That's 1983. That's when the CRA absolutely raked my parents over the coals and destroyed them financially, just because they could, or at least my parents believed that they could. And I've wanted vengeance ever since. So my studying, my studying has led me to where I am right now, and that is in a position to be the number one tax guy out there, because seemingly I'm the only one who actually has read all the acts to do with taxes in Canada. The Income Tax Act, the Excise Tax Act, the GST Act, all of them. I've read them all. I've read a ton of case law. I fight the CRA in court all the time. I fight the CRA in general all the time. They are a criminal institution. I have zero respect for them. I do not consider them human beings, and I consider them having committed crimes against humanity. That's why I despise them as much as I do, and why I'm so eager to fight for you against them. All right, it's your questions answered tonight, folks. Please, by all means, throw any and all questions that you have about taxes, crypto, finance, commerce, the whole 9 yards. We're taking absolutely all questions tonight. How old am I? Well, like I said about 5 minutes ago, 54 years of age. There you go. Born 71. I was 6 years old when Star Wars came out the first time. I saw it opening day, and I do remember the opening crawl. It did not say A New Hope at the top. It just said Star Wars. That New Hope thing came a couple of months later, at least I believe. Matt, hell yeah, Kev, where can I learn how to stop paying taxes legally since it's voluntary? Yeah, okay, that's a very interesting point there. Clause 150 of the Income Tax Act states that you shall do a tax return without the direct request of the Minister of Finance. But shall in civil law does not mean must. It just means please think about it. So anything that you put on a tax return is entirely voluntary. Even if you've got a job where you're getting a T4 every single year, you don't have to submit a tax return if you don't want to. But you're going to be giving them taxes and not get any taxes back. However, you still have the right to not in any way, shape, or form pay any tax or even do a tax return. In fact, if you've never done a tax return and I mean ever in your life, don't start now. Just stay invisible, stay under the radar, especially if you're self-employed or you own a couple of corporations. Why bother putting anything down on paper? Which leads me to the next question we just got here. If I run a corporation, do I need to charge myself income tax on a T4 or on payroll? No. If you have a corporation in Canada, pocket the money, man. Where the CRA gets involved with you is when you actually fill out honestly what's on your tax return. Why would you have a corporation that makes money and potentially pays absolutely no tax whatsoever if you do your taxes correctly, only to then turn around and charge yourself income tax unnecessarily? So you go from 0 taxes to 6 just by filling out a stupid tax return. No, don't do that. A lot of accountants out there are absolute fools, and I mean idiots, where they will tell you, oh, well, we have to balance the books. You brought $1 million into your corporation and we have to show it to the CRA. Why? What law are you quoting that states that I have to share with anybody how much money I make in Canada? Go on. I'll wait. And of course, I'm still waiting for anyone to show me a law that says I must give you my earnings. There's recommendations, there are requests, there are suggestions. The CRA makes demands, but they don't have a law that dictates to me that I must give them my money. So no, if you have a corporation, everybody, get yourself your corporate Visa card or your corporate MasterCard and live your entire life out of your own corporation. It's the first thing I'd recommend to anyone. Why would you want to take corporate money that's essentially tax-free if you do your taxes correctly and then charge yourself income tax? So, because if you put yourself onto a T4 and pay yourself through your own corporation, you're going to be paying the federal income tax, the provincial income tax, you're paying Canada Pension Plan, and you're paying employment insurance. Then your corporation has to pay an additional $6,000 for your CPP and your EI, and the corporation never gets that money back. I fail to see the point of reporting absolutely anything to the CRA. It's your money. Keep it. And besides, it all leaves the country anyway. I get really fed up when I hear people tell me that, oh, well, Kevin, if you don't pay tax, everybody else has to make up the shortfall. No, more of us will pay more tax because you, Kevin, don't want to pay tax. That's not how it works. It's not. Only a fool talks like that. I can't stand it when people bring that uneducated garbage to me. No, if they want money in Canada, they'll just print more. Whether I give them tax dollars or not, they're just going to print more. They've done it. The Canada is almost $2 trillion in the hole right now because they just keep printing money. So why? Why would I give them any of mine? Why would you give them any of yours? What are my thoughts on stacking silver? Do it. If you can afford silver coins and gold coins that are 99.9% pure from the Canadian Mint, do it. Absolutely. I am a big believer in that, but hide them well. Wrap them up in fireproof bags and hide them well and tell no one that you have them. Dude, full respect if cut short on throat issues. No, guys, I don't have a throat issue. I was installing drywall and installing soundproofing in my new 2,000 square foot office. There was dust everywhere. The show started late because I was, stapling and tacking and screwing into the wall all the soundproofing that we had. And we're kicking up a storm of dust. The only problem I have with the office, I love it. We got 10-foot ceilings. We got windows that are 10 feet high. I've got this row of windows, 16 feet wide, and another set of windows, an additional 8 feet wide, but I can't open them. So I couldn't get ventilation to pull the dust out of the air. It's entirely on me, but it's entirely worthwhile. Wait till you guys see the new office. You're absolutely going to love it. Eden says, can I transfer my DTC and my son's DTC to my dad to help him offset his income without any hassle? Make me your tax guy. And what I'll do is I will offset all of your father's earnings. The whole idea here is that everything can be a write-off. Everything. You don't need to play little games by transferring DTC to your father to write off some of his earnings. If I'm your tax guy, I'm writing everything off. What I mean is home office. If you work from home even 1 hour a week, I could write off your driveway, your foyer, the bathroom on the ground floor, kitchen, and one full room. as office space. I can write that whole thing off. Now, what would I be writing off? The mortgage for that amount. So let's say you're using 39% of your house. I'm writing off 39% of your mortgage, 39% of your electrical, your gas, your water, your insurance, all of it. Oh, yeah. Every single bag of coffee you buy, I'm writing that off too. If you get a haircut, if you remember one of the videos I made about 6 months ago, I showed you how a $10 haircut can be sold as a marketing piece to a second corporation, then traded for 100 grand to a third one, and then invoiced back to yourself at $150,000 loss. You can lose money on your own haircut. I showed you how to do this. Accountants, they watch my videos and they say, you can't do that, but yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you have a couple of corporations, you can trade money in between each corporation as much as you want. So your dad does not need your DTC write-offs. Hire me. I'll make sure that he has zero taxes that he's paying. Fernando's asking, how much do our services cost? $950 is the price per tax year for personal income tax. Legal letters are between $500 and $3,000, depending on the complexity of them. Corporate taxes, minimum $2,500 per tax year, no more than $5,000 that we've charged the last couple of years for overtly complex stuff. But then we take over corporations. If you have corporate debt, it's you sell me the company, I take all your debt away from you. It's gone in a day. If you are running a corporation anywhere in Canada and you're collecting GST or HST, then what I will do is take your HST and GST from you and cut you 30% of it back as investment capital, not earnings. That's correct. It's completely legal for us to do this. And then I'm also going to make sure that I'm doing your GST reporting absolutely free of charge. So there's all kinds of really amazing things that we do. Do you have payroll? If you've got payroll, everybody, what you do, have my company take over your entire payroll process. You're going to get back 10% of all the gross source deductions as investment capital, completely tax-free. This is what I do. I study tax law. I don't even look for loopholes. All I'm looking to do is not give the CRA money by legally utilizing every single rule that's in the Income Tax Act that works to our advantage. For every single rule that the CRA professes helps them and hurts you, there's at least 5 that help you and hurt them. Plus, there's all the case law. The CRA lose in court all the time, everybody. The Canada Revenue Agency are really no good at winning in court. Part of their problem is they use the Department of Justice. Now, the last bunch of lawyers that I've met, if I tell you what I really think of the lawyers that work for the Department of Justice in Canada, TikTok will shut this live down. So I'm going to use polite language if I could. They are Neanderthals, all right? They are not of this particular gender. They are weak. They are extremist far left wing, and they have absolutely no idea how the real world works. I have crushed every single one of them. In fact, I just cracked a bunch of racist jokes to one of them, and she gave up the file. I'm not going to be spoken to like that. Well, okay. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. And she actually told the judge, we're just going to withdraw this complaint. But God, it was only 3 jokes. They were good jokes, but that's all that it takes to get rid of these DOJ lawyers. Yeah, because they've got this policy that says if someone's racist or someone's being hostile or angry or raising their voice, that they have to end everything because I guess what? Their feelings matter. Isn't that weird? Like if you watch lawyer shows from American television, the lawyers are all mean and nasty and they want to win. They pull all kinds of tricks. But Canadian lawyers, as soon as someone raises their voice, they quit. They give up. They throw the case out. It's absolutely bizarre, folks. So feel free to be hostile when you're dealing with the CRA. Alrighty. Zeus says, the CRA says that I owe them $50,000 from nothing. That's called an assessment. They just make numbers up, everybody. That's all they do. They make numbers up and they send you out a bill saying you owe us this much money. Why? Because we feel like it. So what we do is we object. There is a free form. I think it's called the 440 or 400. It's free. It's on their website. We fill it out. We object. We send the objection in. We fax it in, which is free. You can use fax0zero.com and fax it into all their fax numbers and tell them, we object. You are incorrect. You are showing no evidence whatsoever of this debt. Show me the evidence. If they don't accept the objection, we take them to tax court. And that delays your tax file by 2 years because tax court's full. In fact, they shut one down. They shut the Hamilton tax court down because there was a battle, a firearms battle that took place between a couple of gang members right outside the court, and everybody who worked for the courthouse panicked, so they shut the courthouse down. It was completely unrelated to tax court. It was a couple of punk kids shooting at each other. That's all that it was. But they're so afraid of the fact that the police said that there was, I guess, an incident that they actually shut down the Hamilton, Ontario tax courthouse. Isn't that bizarre? I mean, it's great that we have such weak people running our courts. They're just shutting them down and throwing all these cases out. It's bizarre, but that's how we win. Can I get, Glenn, good question. Can I get your opinion on the new HST rebate for new homes in Ontario? Here's the deal, everybody. In the province of Ontario, if you buy a brand new house, they call it a new build. That's the term. What they do is they charge you 13%. Yeah, so $1 million home, you have to pay $130,000 of HST, harmonized sales tax, on that purchase, which you don't have to do if you're buying a used house, just a new house. Well, I figured out a way. If you're a developer, I have figured out a way to make that HST bill $13. If anybody is curious on how you can sell a $1 million home and only pay $13 tax on it, I can't explain it here because it would take an hour. But get a hold of me and you're going to make a fortune. Now, getting back to you, Glenn, is what's my opinion on the rebate? The rebate is about $20,000 for every $130,000 of HST that you spend. It's better to buy the house through a corporation, and then the house itself is an expense. So you get all the HST back. Ta-da! It's that easy. It is that easy. This is what I set up for all of my clients. It is so easy to just not pay tax anymore. I can't believe more people don't do this. You know, CPAs out there and tax lawyers out there saying, no, you can't get your game. I don't care what they say. They're wrong. If you go to a tax lawyer and you're still paying tax, that's a crappy lawyer. Get rid of them. Like, move on to someone else. Justice Common. Can I pay with crypto for a corporation account in Panama? How much? Yeah. USDT, ERC20, Bitcoin, XRP. You can pay. Yes, you can pay my corporation in any cryptocurrency. Well, I guess we'll call it any of the top 20 of the cryptocurrencies. Yeah, you certainly can pay crypto for that. Tycro, yes. Mr. James is still there. Deminovac. Okay, so anybody who's looking forward to having a conversation with Dr. James, could you please go to my website right now, kevinjjohnston.com, use the contact form, and let me know what's going on, okay? We'll take care of that for you. Lady Skates, what's the best approach to fight the CRA asking for CERB repayment? They claim an individual was not eligible when eligibility goalposts were continually moving. Well, that's what the CRA does. Everything the Canadian government does is crooked. Everything. You know, we all need to comprehend full out that we are being ripped off by the CRA on an absolutely daily basis, and none of you should have bank accounts in your personal name. None of you should own cars or houses or any property in your personal name. You should have nothing in your personal name. And if you have nothing in your personal name, then you don't have to worry about a damn thing. They can moan and complain and bitch all they want, but you're not going to be paying them if you have nothing for them to take. And that's it's very paramount that we do it that way. So any advice? Yes, there is a way for me to get rid of all of the debts to do with CERB, but it's a lot of work. So let me know if that's what you want me to get done for you. It's not a problem. All right. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Kevin, can you explain how to backdate a director change at the registries in Alberta? Or do you have a contact that can do it? It's got to be done through a legal letter, and it has to be done through an affidavit. If you don't use the appropriate legal letter and affidavit, you can't do it. But if you do have the appropriate affidavit, which I can create for you, you can do it. It really is that easy. Are there any annual corporate filing requirements in Panama? Yes, there are. You must have even if your corporation makes no money, you have to have an accountant certify the amount of money it made, 0, 1,000, 10,000, whatever it might be. That costs $150. And depending on the province that you're in, Panama's got 7 provinces, I believe. So some of them are more expensive than others. With me living in Panama City, I'm also in Panama Province, which is in Panama Region, which is in the country of Panama. So there are 4 Panamas in my address, which is cool. But Panama City is the most expensive for renewal. When I renew my corporations annually, it's $348 to do it. It's worth it, guys. It's totally, absolutely worth it. All right. Kevin, can you explain? Mike says, help. I had my consultation 3 weeks ago. Okay, Mike, put your name in the subject line. Go to my website right now. Please fill out the contact form, and I'm going to have Randy get back to you ASAP. Alrighty. Case closed is asking, what do I think is happening with XRP and XLM? I think it's going to be balancing out, and I believe absolutely wholeheartedly that it's going to go bull next year. XRP, unlike Bitcoin, is being used for a lot of transactions worldwide. It's between 3 and 5 seconds for a transaction to take place. Bitcoin is still up to about 5 minutes in some cases, and people are holding Bitcoin like they're holding gold. They don't spend it. They hoard it, which is fine, but XRP is being spent all over the world. When the banks decide that they're actually going to completely introduce it to their banking systems, it's going to take off. The pros are saying that XRP could hit $1,000. I'd be happy at $150 because that's retirement money for me there. I'm holding on to all of it though. Kevin, I opened up a corporation this year as a holding company, but I'm conducting business in it. They want me to file this week, and they have sent me all the HST remittances. Sorry, JP, what do you mean they sent you the remittances? Because you would send them remittances. So could you rephrase the question, please? I'd very much like to see that. As for the initial return, you can always put the initial return down at 0. It's completely legal to have a corporation in Canada. And when it comes time to doing the tax return, you put the corporation name, the 9-digit business number on it, or the HST number, and put nothing, just nothing on it. No numbers. Don't put 0, put nothing on it and submit it. Congratulations. The tax return is now complete. Does the Income Tax Act legally appoint a legal representative? No, it does not. That's the question right there, everybody. No, there is no creation of a legal representation for you, the individual. No, you'd have to have your own lawyer, or know your stuff, or have me as the guy protecting you against the criminals at the CRA. Blair says, I'm 56. I have $30K coming from a will soon, and another $250K after tax season next year. Suggestions? Yeah, Blair. With a death in the family, somebody is always appointed as the executor, but you have the right to step down as the executor. Here's what you do. You shut up about who died. You tell nobody. Get the death certificate. Go to the bank, clear out the bank accounts. If there's property, transfer it to your name or transfer it to a numbered corporation. Move the cars into your name. Grab everything that is registered to the government in some way and move it to you or your family, whoever you want to have it. As soon as all that's done, you sign an affidavit that I can make for you that states that you officially stepped down as the executor, so you are no longer liable or responsible for any of it. And then we do your dead relatives' taxes 3 years later. You are not obligated. The CRA says we want you to do your dead loved one's taxes within 6 months, but there's no law that says you have to at all. None. There's not a single solitary law that says you must do a dead man's taxes in 6 months. It's just a rule. But we don't work for the CRA, so we will ignore their rules. Thank you all very, very much. Mike says, how can I deposit 20 grand without being harassed by a bank or by FinTrack? In Canada, put it in a corporate bank account. If you put it into a personal account, FinTrack is watching. A corporate account, they don't care at all. All right. Justice coming. Can I deposit crypto into a bank account in Panama? Right now, the only bank that's doing it is Tower Bank. Tower Bank was the first skyscraper in the area downtown. That's, I think, about 15 years ago. And then the entire banking district built up around that one bank. Right now, they are the only ones that are doing crypto as part of it. Okay. Let's have a look here. More of your questions. All right. Dick Plummer. If you quit paying taxes, when I die, will they somehow take my pension after it's left behind for my wife? If I'm your tax guy, your tax bill is going to be somewhere around, let's say, I don't know, 0. And if that's the case, then no. The only time that the CRA ever has anything over you is if you report a positive number. Right now, the threshold's about $16,500. Anything under that, you don't pay tax on. So the idea would be, if you're getting older, is to make sure your income is below that on paper. And no, you'll never owe a penny of tax. Khalid, I don't give my phone number out on my show because if I did, I would never get any sleep whatsoever. However, if you book yourself a consultation on my website, you get to speak to me directly in a chat room, which now brings me to my next thing. Ladies and gentlemen, there are scammers all over the place. There's more than 500 scam accounts of me right now. And I have now had 5 separate people contact me on social media and whatnot, calling me a scammer and calling me a liar and whatnot, because you've given money to scammers and you got nothing for it, obviously. I've told you all before. I'm going to tell you again. I will never ask for money from you through social media. I am not on Telegram asking for money. I am not on Signal asking you for money. I will never call you on WhatsApp ever asking for money, period. The consultation that you purchase is only purchasable on my official website, kevinjjohnston.com. That's it. If you are not speaking to this face here, this face right here, do not give anybody money. You can ask me to reach onto my desk and prove to you I'm not AI. AI cannot put these glasses on. These are my New Year's Eve glasses, everybody. They were free at the hotel I stayed at. I'll put them on. AI will not be able to hold up a mouse and a second mouse. AI will not be able to take a sip of water. AI will not be able to, I don't know, put this whole pen up my nose. It can't do these things. I heard from a client who gave away a lot of money to someone that the person he was talking to was wearing a hoodie. I live in Panama. The coldest temperature I have felt in Panama City is 73 degrees. Do you honestly think that I would be wearing a fleece hoodie in Panama? Even when I got to the top of Volcan Baru, which is a volcano called Baru, which is 12,200 feet above the ground, I wasn't wearing a hoodie. I was wearing a t-shirt, a light sweater, and a dollar store raincoat, transparent raincoat. That's it. Even at the top of a mountain in Panama, it's not cold. I would never wear a hoodie. None of you have ever seen me wear a hat. I just don't wear hats. I hate wearing hats. I can't stand, even in the winter. A lot of times it's minus 25 outside. I'm not even wearing a hat. I can't. I get the little band that covers my ears. That's it. I don't like stuff on my head. I don't wear earrings. I don't wear rings. I don't wear watches. I don't do any of that crap. If you see tattoos, it ain't me. If you see jewelry around the guy's neck, it ain't me. I just don't wear these things. I do not do any of that. So please stop talking to scammers. Do not talk to me through DMs because it ain't me. I'm not DMing anyone. That's all I got to say about that, everyone. And it is not my obligation. If you're talking to a scammer, it is not my obligation to give you your money back. How could I possibly do that? I would be giving you my money, not giving you your money back. I would be giving you my money. If you give your money to a scammer, sorry, folks, but you're on your own. I've told you how to interact with me. Everything goes through my website. and my new website launches on Monday, which is going to be even easier to use. Dan is asking me, do you list yourself as an agent when submitting to the CRA? Laugh out loud, they must investigate whenever. They don't like me at all. And I have a solution for that, which I'm not going to discuss here because I can't give away all my secrets. But I am not a lawyer. I do have to list myself as a legal agent. As for the CRA and me, I sued those losers for $100 million, and they didn't even bother filing a defense. That's how terrified they are of me. All right. Section 160, as a son who received a gift, can I refuse? Why don't you take the gift and shut up about it? Right? Why would you tell anyone that you received a cash gift or a house as a gift or a car as a gift or, I don't know, a new mouse as a gift? Take the gift and shut up. It's your gift. You do not have to tell the CRA about anything. Period. Ryan Martin's asking who buys a new home. I guess those who are fortunate enough to get their hands on a $2 million mortgage. I wouldn't buy a new home. Can I claim the full GST on a brand new vehicle even if I only use the vehicle for 6 months? Yeah. Yeah. Who told you that you can't? Of course you can. Every penny of it. By the way, folks, we're only at 5,700 likes. Everyone, double fingers. Let's go. Get those fingers moving. Let's get the likes out the door, everyone. And share. Share. If you're watching on Rumble, get the thumbs up clicking. All right. Right now, come on. There's just so few likes. You guys got to get the likes rocking out there. If you're watching on Twitter or you're watching on Facebook, please share this out. Everyone needs to know everything that I am saying here. We want to make sure that all of you stop paying tax in Canada. Sir Canada says, how do we remove our name from a bank or from real estate, etc.? With real estate, you transfer the real estate into a numbered corporation. With a bank account, you would open up a numbered corporation, move all the money into that bank account, and shut down your personal account. It really is that easy, folks. It really is. Okay, moving on to the next question here. Oh, hold on. When the CRA invokes Section 325, can it be challenged, or is the liability essentially unavoidable? Let me read that one for you. Section 325, Income Tax Act, Canada. Looking it up right now for you. All right. Let me oh, come on. The Income Tax Act. Statutes. I think I found it here. Statutes.ca. Section. Nope. Sorry, folks. Normally it's easier to find. All right. So if you want to transfer property to a family member with the expectation that the CRA cannot seize that property, Section 160 of the Income Tax and Section 325 of the Excise Tax Act exist to counter this behavior. Pursuant to the legislation, the transferee can be forced to pay tax debts if they receive the property for less than fair market value from someone who owes tax. Okay, so what they're trying to say here is that if you owe a lot of tax money and you sell your house to your kids for $1, they'll try to get that house. But if you transfer it to a numbered corporation, nothing they can do. By the way, nothing is cut in stone in Canada, and Section 325 is a suggestion, not a law. You can appeal everything. In fact, if a CRA representative does this to you, will you transfer property to your kid and they say, no, you got to pay the full tax? You can file criminal charges for extortion and fraud. Why don't Canadians do this? Come on, everybody. Do it. All of you out there should be doing this. And by the way, on Rumble, can everybody hear me okay? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay, please. Appreciate that. Poor Jat says, I want to make an appointment for May in person. Do it on my website, please. My name, kevinjjohnston.com. On my website, it shows I have no dates available. Randy, I know you're watching. Please make all of May and June available. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. All right. Do you have Do you have and claims to support you and reviews? I think you're asking if I have clients who offer testimonials. Absolutely, they do. All right. Okay, folks, I am available. I think the website might have ended because we're switching to a new website next week, Monday, brand new. It's amazing. So I can tell you this, that I do have availability all the way now until July. We opened up May, June, and July. But if it shows that there aren't availability, I'm telling you that there is, because we haven't sold out yet. So, I mean, we're close, but there's still a lot of dates that are available. And we'll make sure that that takes place, everyone. Lady Skates, when opening a numbered corporation, should they be provincial or federal? Does it matter? Provincial is always good if you're in any of the provinces that have HST, because you can get a lot more HST back. If you're going to go federal, make sure that your head office is in Ontario, because, again, you get the HST back. Matt's asking, do I set up LLCs? Canada does not have LLCs. That's an American thing. If you're going to do it, that's one I can do for you, but it would just be better if you went over to WyomingLLCattorney.com and register there. It's like $150. It's cheap. Absolutely cheap. If you're in Canada, I can set up a corporation for you, though. Corporations I can do. There's just no such thing as an LLC in Canada. All right. If I decide to never pay taxes again when I die, oh no, we've already answered that one. So the crooks at the CRA are still holding the money from when we sold my mom's house after she passed away. Now, here's the question I have for you, Jordan. How the F did they know? Somebody in the family told them. It's not like the CRA knows that mom, dad, cousin, whatever. They don't know who is dead until you tell them. And that's the problem. Now, as for holding money, I have no clue how they would have got their hands on the money from the sale of your mother's house unless one of you gave it to them. This is why I keep telling everyone, shut up. Stop talking. Have a private life, for God's sakes. Not everything is for the public. And because the CRA are criminals and because they're not cops, they're just losers. Why are you telling losers anything about your private lives? Shut up. Stop talking. So if they're holding money, then you're going to have to sue them to get that money back. If they're holding it without cause, it's fraud and theft. And there is tort law that protects you on that one. Sue them. File that lawsuit. Get it in there. How many times can you claim zero income? Every year if you want. Doesn't matter. It's not like you're going to do jail time if you tell them the wrong amount. There's no prison time for getting your taxes wrong. There's no prison time. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no prison time for you taking your tax return on paper, picking up your dog's waste products with it, and shaking it off and mailing it in. There just isn't. You do whatever you want. It's your money. Keep it. All right. When you say put everything into a corporation and nothing in your name, does that mean a TFSA and an RRSP? Nobody should be using a TFSA. I think that's the most bizarre thing going, everyone. Why would you invest in a Canadian brokerage house that's going to take 30% of what you make away from you and just hand it over to the CRA? There's no law that says they have to do it. There's no punishment if they don't do it, but they do it anyway because they're all cowards, every single one of them. All right. So don't get a TFSA in Canada. If you're going to be investing, invest in the United States. Get an American LLC opened up and invest there. As for RRSPs, the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, another scam. All you're doing is deferring taxes to your senior citizen years. However, I'm so good at what I do that I can get you back every penny that they take from you. Make me your tax guy. You'll stop paying tax. That's just how it is. What if your business is behind in your taxes? And why would you need a CPA? You don't need a CPA. A chartered professional accountant, they're not licensed. Just so everyone understands what a chartered professional accountant is, it's some loser who went to school and learned how to do what the CRA wants. That's all a CPA is. They don't work for you. They work for the CRA. And they're not licensed, by the way. There's no such thing as a real estate license. Why? Because all the governing bodies are private companies. You have a membership. And it's the same thing with all of the accounting governing bodies. They're private companies. You don't have a license. You have a membership, right? The government can issue a license. Private corporations can issue a membership. So you got a membership. What we do? If you lose your membership, so what? CPAs suck. I'm better than every CPA in the country. I promise you that right now. If a farm is putting up a fence and has 100 yards, but puts a post every 10 yards, how many posts? Enough to ruin your day. Cody, executive here. You can't do any of that? What do you mean? You can't do any of what? Let me know what you can and cannot do. Anyone who needs an affidavit, let me know. Go to my website. Sign up for one. Let's get you not paying tax. Johnston says, the CRA threatened to take legal action against me. What do I do? They always say legal action, but they don't specifically say what legal action, do they? Legal action for them is typically illegal action. They will break the law in some particular way. But all we have to do is send them in a cease and desist notice telling them to leave you alone. And then if they keep bugging you, you file criminal charges at the nearest courthouse. The CRA needs to go down. And each and every one of you got to start standing up for yourselves. All of you need to talk to them like the pieces of dirt that they really are. Yell, scream, crack racist epithets, whatever you got to do to get them to hang up that phone. And then you have to reply to every letter they send with threats of your own. You can threaten them with legal action. You can threaten them with lawsuits. You can threaten them with filing criminal charges. You can threaten any CRA representative anytime to call the cops or file criminal charges. You can threaten them with anything that the law says that you are allowed to threaten with in writing. Lawsuits are a big one. Threaten them back. Are there any chance of them changing the rules for a corporation account? No. Carney has a minority government, and he is focused on something completely different than the CRA right now. It would take between 3 and 6 years for the laws to change. Don't worry about that. I owe $13,000 in taxes through my business. What can I do? You could sell me your corporation. I could take all that tax debt away from you. I could do your taxes and reset you down to zero. There's all kinds of options. Get a hold of me on my website, please. Hi, I listened and drained my bank account. Now they froze it and the bank does not have access. Okay, so for all of you out there who have CRA trouble, drain your bank accounts. Drain them. If you have lines of credit, take every penny out of it and just pay the minimums. The CRA is going to send a letter off to your bank saying you have to give us money. The banks don't have to legally give them anything, but the banks do it anyway. So drain your bank accounts if you got CRA trouble. Oh, and someone says, oh, Lord, not this guy again. Hey, I'm not going to make you stay. You are free to go. All right. Mr. Plummer says, we'll be talking. You'll be my guy. All right, man. Looking forward to that. All right. Very good. How much is the consultation? The group consultations are the last Wednesday of every month. They are $250. A regular consultation is $695 for 30 minutes. And the weekend special ones on Saturday and Sunday mornings are $1,500. You get a full hour of my time face to face. You don't talk to my staff. You talk to me in a chat room. Like, me, where I can pick stuff up off my desk and show it to you. Maybe do a backflip or something to prove that I'm not AI. All right. People are making fake accounts. Oh, yeah, there's a ton of people making fake accounts. I've told all of you, do not do business through TikTok. TikTok is where the scammers hide out. And there are some of you out there who are getting taken by these scammers. You need to talk to me on my website and speak to me in person in a chat room. Do not give money out. I do not take money on WhatsApp, on Signal. I don't take money here through Instagram. I do not take money through Air Wallets and a whole bunch of other nonsense out there. I'm no longer on PayPal, so you don't have to PayPal me any money. I don't do this. I need all of you to go through my website only. As a corporation, how do I not pay tax? Where do I start with that one? The easy answer is make me your tax guy, and you're not paying tax. All right. I'm a veteran with $5,000 per month in income and pensions. Can I move to Panama? Yeah. Yeah, 5,000 a month Canadians, about 4,200 maybe US, somewhere in that range. You'll do quite well with that. I think I might have mentioned here that I can buy 2 5-pound chickens in one big wrapping for less than $4.50. If you know where to shop in Panama, your entire grocery bill is $200 for the entire month. Maybe. Depends on how expensive your tastes are. Gil, 420. Good question. Are acts laws? No, they are rules for a set portion of the population who choose to be governed by it. So if you work for the Canada Revenue Agency, then you've chosen to be governed by the Income Tax Act and the Excise Tax Act. But I don't work for the CRA, neither do you, so they can suck it with their rules. They're not laws. They are rules. All civil, no criminal law whatsoever. Mike says, question, is CRA actually a registered corporation in Washington, D.C. instead of Canada? Why? Because all government agencies are registered in Washington, D.C. There's some kind of deal that was made with Washington, but I don't know what that deal is. I got married in September of last year. Should we claim it on our taxes? Never, 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 never tell the CRA you're married. It's none of their business. There's no tax benefit to it. It's not like you get a tax break. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to get a tax break if I put down that I'm married. I get less tax if I get married. Who the hell told you that? No, you don't. All you've done is you've taken away the ability for both of you to claim the child tax benefit credit. Yeah, you both can claim it if you're listed as single. And there's no law that says you have to tell the truth about being married, period. Yeah. Whenever someone asks me if I'm married, I say, yes, no, don't know, maybe, perhaps. I can't remember. Oh, and none of your effing business. There you go. You should do the same thing, everyone. Why don't you start telling people that? None of your business. Why would you ask me that? You know, get that look on your face. Why would you ask me that? I don't know you. Try talking like that, folks. It works. The idiots and the losers and the thieves go away when you're angry with them. It's awesome. How much to set up a corporation in the province of Ontario? $19.50 plus HST. All right. This is weird. It says my fan club has completed the first stage of your club request. I don't know what that means. Did somebody set up a fan club? If so, thank you. I know I didn't do it. I don't know why TikTok is telling me I have one. That's kind of weird. Don't pay your taxes and get your wage garnished. I didn't say don't pay your taxes. What I said is we get your tax bill to zero through paperwork, and then there's no reason to be garnished. But your employer is under no legal obligation whatsoever to pay a garnishment. In fact, if you are an employer and you garnish your staff's wages, you're a thief, a coward, and a liar. You're scum. You're dirt. You're filth. Absolute filth. You know, you all say, I want to see goo. Why don't you send in a legal letter saying, we will garnish this individual's wages when you show evidence of there being a debt? You can't just tell me to give you money and I'm going to give you money. But that's how Canadians think. Oh, it's an official letter. You have to pay us first. And you do. It's weird. You do. You're a scumbag if you steal from your staff to give it to the CRA. There's nothing they can do. Nothing at all. Grow up. Grow a spine. Wouldn't that be nice? Can the bank put my account in probate for my mother's estate? Well, if you approach them the wrong way, sure. The banks will, they don't probate. What they'll do is tell you that they're going to freeze the account until it goes into probate. At which point, then what you do is you have to hire a lawyer, put everything in probate, and then fire the lawyer. So you put it in probate, get everything out, fire the lawyer, and it doesn't matter at that point. Have your criminal charges against the CRA ever done anything? Yeah, it made a few of them crap their pants. I had one Pakistani guy. Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. I did not mean it. I'm just doing my job. He was crying. It was hilarious. In the Brampton courthouse, this guy was crying his eyes out. It was awesome. Yes, it does. It lowers morale. It costs them money. It takes them away from work. If they are focused on having to defend themselves in court, they are not making phone calls to the public. Just like I told all of you, I've given so many of you phone numbers for auditors. And I ask you, all of you, phone them. Phone them 24 hours a day. Ask them questions about why they are so cruel. If they're wasting their time talking to you or to maybe the robot callers that you use, then they are not spending any time trying to steal money from good people. All right? But no one does it. My offer is a serious one. There was a guy named Mark McDonald. Let me see if I can pull up this guy's phone number, because this is worthwhile. Mark McDonald, he calls himself the #1 collector for the CRA. This guy is an absolute loser working for the CRA. All right. I'm going to give you a phone number here. I found the phone number. This guy works out of the Surrey, BC office. He pretends to be tough. He's someone who's very easily agitated. Everyone write this down, please. Put it in the chat room right now. 236-464-3061. That is a government phone number. I'm allowed to give it to you because it's a publicly published phone number. It's a government employee, Mark McDonald. Now, I've asked all of you, call this guy, ask him questions about why he's such a criminal, why he likes to threaten women and children. Now, he's got a hot temper. I told all of you, the funniest conversation with this clown gets you $1,000 of my own money. I've been making that offer for a year. Not one of you have called him. None of you. None of you are picking up the phone to call this guy to try to win cash. Even when I'm offering you cash and I'm saying call this guy anonymously, go to phone2.com. Right? That's the replacement for Skype. It's something like $10 a month. You get a phone number. You can call CRA representatives and have conversations with them like I do, which is asking them a ton of questions about tax law and tax compliance and the Income Tax Act and so on. They have no idea what they're talking about, and some of them get really angry. And the funniest call gets $1,000. Why won't you people call? Yeah, I can do it. Who am I that is so special? I'm some middle-aged guy standing 5'6", right? And I was told the other day I'm thinning up top. So I'm possibly balding as a middle-aged dude. And I can make these phone calls. I'm not special, right? Join me in the onslaught. Have some fun. If you live in North Dakota or anywhere in the United States, folks, you don't have to report your income to the CRA. If you're making money outside the country, you don't have to report your income to the CRA. If you've got property outside of Canada, you don't have to report to the CRA. You don't have to report your house to the CRA either. If you own property in Canada, shut up. You don't have to tell them. There's no law that says you must tell them. It's on the tax return, but that's a voluntary decision. If you want to tell them you got a house, that's on you. That's voluntary. You don't have to. You do not do jail time for telling the CRA nothing. It's none of their business. Stop it. I owe $5,000 to my corporation. What can I do? Make me your tax guy? And it's gone. How do you drain 8 figures? You would transfer here to Panama. I deal with a company that buys and sells gold and silver. You buy, let's say, 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures, in this case, worth of AXU. And then we liquidate that and the whole amount goes into a Panamanian bank account. Ta-da. It takes a day to get that done. Where or how do I put my government check deposits so I don't pay any tax? Money Mart, Cash for You, checkcash.com, any of those guys. Go. I mean, you'll lose 3%, but it's just cash. They'll cash it for you right there on the spot. What happens when someone sells you their business and it's a family business? We get you into a brand new corporation immediately and you're buying back all your trademarks. So you keep doing business the same way that you were, except I own your debt. You have no more debt. That's how that works. Keep doing what you want. Here we go. Dig deep. Sounds like someone that we just talked about here. Well, geez, I gave you $1,000 and all I got was you asking for more. Right. You gave it to a scammer. You didn't give it to me. I wouldn't ask you for $1,000 because $1,000 is not the price of any service I have on my website. I do not have a $1,000 service, period. I've told everybody, don't give money to people online. I do not ask for money on TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, nothing. It's through my website only. You gave your money to some scammer. Don't put that on me. CRA sees my business bank account. Can I open a new limited company and operate it? No. Sorry. No, they will not chase you for it. Yes, you could open a brand new company and move money into the brand new corporation. If any of you have tax debt right now, empty your friggin' bank accounts. What are you waiting for? I tell everyone this. Empty your goddamn bank accounts. And all of you wait. You don't tell me that you're in trouble until after they've taken your money. Why wait? Drain the account, man. James, if you want to have a conversation, no problem. On my website, I will not be asking for any money through social media, period. John, you're asking me about the Tobacco Tax Act. What about it? I don't particularly care about it. First off, I don't buy tobacco products. And secondly, the Tobacco Tax Act is, again, just like the GST Act and the Income Tax Act. It's a series of rules on how tobacco is to be sold and stamped and so on. But I'm not going to be getting into the cigarette trade, period. I have zero interest in that. By the way, fewer people are smoking and drinking liquor than ever before. So it's not a good idea. I think, honestly speaking, you'd make more money selling broccoli than cigarettes. Jean-Francois, see, hey, I can do the French Canadian accent, eh? And you know Jacques over there. He's that guy with the thing. Okay, so Jean-Francois, does this work for all Canadians? How about Quebec? Yes, but Quebec does have different rules because the province of Quebec operates on civic law and not common law. So Quebec does a lot of really bizarre stuff that I cannot stand. What I always do for Quebecois is we get them into an Ontario-based corporation and change their residency to Ontario. And that way, Revenu de Quebec, those guys, the nut jobs, they will no longer chase you because you're no longer registered as a Quebec corporation. Revenue Canada has my SIN number blocked. How do I start another corporation? I'll open one for you and just transfer it to you. It is that simple. I don't know how they could block your SIN number. If they block your SIN number, then they can't collect tax from you. So there's more to the story than just them blocking it. They don't do that. Comfy Corner says, CRA audited me and told me my corporation is a personal service business and I have to pay 40% tax. Why did you talk to the auditor? You tell the auditor to go F themselves. That's what we do. You don't cooperate with an audit. Why would you think that you got to cooperate with someone who's going to stick their nose in your business? So what I got to do, I got to buy your company from you now and take all that debt away from you, period. So that you have zero tax. Do not cooperate with auditors. We ban auditors from your property. I just jump on the phone with the auditor saying, hey, listen, we appreciate this glorious opportunity to have you sniff around all this paperwork, but we're going to go ahead and decline, and we are banning you from the property. There you go. A friend of mine got a letter from the CRA saying he owes $190,000 after the Royal Bank took his home. All right, well, there's more to the story on that one. I need to know more about that. I own a business and I haven't done my taxes in 5 years. Can you help me? Yeah, Barnstar, sell me the company. I'll get you a brand new numbered corporation, start over, and let me deal with your taxes because that's going to cost you a lot. Like 5 years of taxes, even if you go to a CPA, it'll cost you about $35,000. It's going to be cheaper for you to sell your company to me by a lot, I might add, and let me deal with those 5 years of taxes. Get on my website right now. For those who want to sell me their companies, sell me all their corporate debt, it's Kevin J. Johnston, my name, .biz. It goes to one page on my official website with a long form on all your corporate debt. Please fill that out and we'll get that thing rocking for you. What happens if someone sells their corporation? Does it shut down? Maybe what I'll do is amalgamate it with another corporation. Maybe I will hang on to it and operate it for a while. It all depends on what I feel that I can do with the corporation after I take it from you. because debt is a commodity. Don't Cry Me River says CRA is doing automatic tax returns starting in 2026. Yes, for anybody that's under $25,000 of income, that's what they're talking about. That's going to hurt a lot of people, which is why we have our own AI system that's going to be available well before that. So all of you can do your taxes on my AI system and not pay tax. Oh, for those who want to call that Mark McDonald guy, everyone type this right now in the chat room for everybody else. Mark with a C. McDonald, M-A-C, Donald, MacDonald, the CRA tough guy, hot-tempered, swears a lot. This guy, it's real easy to get on his nerves. 236-464-3061. Ask him a ton of questions about tax. Keep calling him back because he does answer over and over and over again. And he'll get mad. He'll swear. He'll call you all kinds of names. The funniest one gets $1,000. All right. Let him have it, everybody. Go to town. Make some phone calls. All right. Justice Cumming. Question: how much to set up a personal bank account in Panama? Well, if you're in Panama, free. Walk in the bank. Say, hi, I'm a gringo. Here's my passport. I want a bank account. Take a translator with you, though. That helps. And it's free to do. What's the advantage? Your money won't be in Canada. What more can I tell you? All right. There we go. So MIJL International, thank you for putting the phone number in the chat room, everyone. Please call this guy. Someone call this guy. Do I have any spots left for tomorrow's group call? Oh, Delray Artistry. It's the last Wednesday of every month. Not the first, the last Wednesday of every month. The next one will be on April 29th. Wednesday, April 29th is going to be the next group session. So yeah, you can jump on there and grab one now. I'm a small business owner, but I owe the CRA about $8,000. How do I get out of owing them? Make me your tax guy and your tax bill goes away. It is that simple. All right, John, don't private mess. Guys, do not DM me on social media. That's where people get scammed, all right? Don't do it. Use my website, my name, Kevin, middle initial, J, last name, Johnston, JOHNSTON.com. If I own a rental property and I put it into a corporation, how do I get all the money when I sell? One of two ways. A, sell the corporation and the house goes with it. No lawyer is required. B, sell them the property outside of the corporation, sell me the company, no capital gains, you get all the money. Yes, it is that easy. All right. What's the safest kind of trust? You don't really need them. Trusts have annuations done every 21 years. It's unrealized capital gains, so you got to be very careful what you put into them. Right now, I'm not even pushing a trust. If you have like 10, 15 houses, yeah, we'll do a trust. If you don't, not worth it. Just do everything through numbered corporations instead. All right. Do I have an office in Toronto? I personally do not, but one of my team is in Toronto. Another one is in Barrie. I've got one in Edmonton. I've got staff all over the country, but the consultations are done with me online. The odds of me stepping foot inside of the city of Toronto again for the rest of my life are pretty slim. I hate that place. I cannot emphasize just how much I despise Toronto. If somebody nuked it, I would go back just to see the crater, smile, toast whoever did it, and leave. No, I will not be in Toronto, but I do have teams in Toronto. But we don't do in-person meetings in Canada, mainly because I'm not going to risk my staff's safety. The Canadian government is crazy. I mean, I'm sure all of you are well aware of the fact that the Canadian government has done a lot of harm to a lot of conservatives like myself. There have been legitimate attempts on my life, and I'm just not interested in that place anymore at all, period. Can you set up in Panama without ID? No. Everybody in Panama has ID. But here's the cool part about your identification. It's legal to flash your identification on your phone. I don't carry any identification with me anywhere. It's on my phone. In fact, I don't even carry my real phone with me. I've got a backup phone because it's something like $22 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data on that phone. And on that phone, I have photographs of my ID. If they want to see my passport, flash. Driver's license, flash. Completely legal to have your ID on your phones. KS says, my friend owes $22,000 in GST for 2021, and somebody has asked him to close the corporation. You don't close the corporation. Sell me the corporation, walk away from all that debt. That's what you do. How much do I charge to become somebody's accountant? Well, there's the standard rates that we have. I covered rates about an hour ago on the show. But yes, I mean, we will become your official accounting company. I've got a big team here. We've got a team of 11 now. It's amazing. So if you want to get in there, all about it. Now, do I have anybody in Sudbury? Wow, I haven't been to Sudbury in a decade or so, but I used to go every year. My mother's side of the family, they were all in Sudbury, but they're all dead now. I used to go there all the time. Sudbury was a really cool place in the 70s and 80s, but now it's a zoo. Joe, for a professional with unlimited liability, should my personal residence be in my wife's name? No, it should be in a numbered corporation. Numbered corporation. Don't put stuff in your spouse's name. All right? What happens if your spouse says get out? Think about that. No. Guys, numbered corporation. Always, always, always a corporation. All right. Having a quick look at more questions here. Will they come after me because I am the sole owner in the new limited company? The CRA will chase the directors, but not the shareholders if you don't tell them who the shareholders are. You have no legal obligation to tell the CRA who the shareholders are, by the way. You just say, hi, the director is, who's a good cartoon character? Tom the Cat, Jerry the Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Goofy. Doesn't matter. As long as it's not you. Don't be the director. The director is a sucker. The sucker who gets stuck with the tax bill, period. John is saying, is this from your site? You want to make sure it is legitimate. John, if this is my official TikTok channel, Real Kevin J. Johnston. My official website is in my bio. Click that. It goes straight to my website. My name, Kevin, middle initial is J. Last name is Johnston, JOHNSTON.com. Do I have anybody in Calgary? Yes, I have somebody in Calgary. I own 3 houses in Calgary. Or do I? Or is it Red Deer? Or is it Rocky Mountain House? I own property all over Canada, folks. It's all in numbered corporations. That's why I'm not one bit nervous about holding property anywhere in the country. But I kind of miss Calgary. I hate the cops. I hate the politics. I hate the left-wing nut crybaby losers. But the city itself is actually pretty cool. It's very easy to navigate Calgary. It's a very easy city to get around. Is there any way to get a lien off the property from the CRA, unpaid HST, and not filing returns? Yeah, I'm going to file all your returns, and I'll put your taxes down at 0. And then they have no choice but to lift that lien. Okay. Do I live in Halifax? No, I've never actually been to Halifax. I'm disappointed in myself for not having gone to the east coast of Canada. I've seen, with the exception of Hawaii and Alaska, I've seen every capital city in the United States, but I still have not seen any of the east coast of Canada. So no, I don't live there. Do you need minimum dollars to become a numbered corporation? Nope. No, any bank account out there in Canada, the company bank accounts, I think the minimum is $100. Open a bank account, put $100 in. Can you file returns if the CRA says you still owe money? You can correct each tax year 10 times. You have 10 chances to correct each and every tax year that you do. Yeah, everyone tells me I've got to see Cape Breton. Everyone tells me I got to show up for the lobster. Yeah, I know. Okay. Having a quick peek down here. Justice, if you want me to set up a bank account for you, I actually don't do that. My lawyer would do that for you. So it'd be whatever the lawyer is going to charge. It won't be much to set up a personal bank account, probably $1,000 US to get that done. The lawyer will go in there and take care of all of that for you. Can you change the director anytime? Yeah. You can also backdate the director step down if you do it through a proper affidavit and a legal documentation. Yeah. You can change director 20 times a day if you want. Completely legal. How do you pay your mortgage if your house is in a numbered corporation? The mortgage is against the property, not you. Not you, the person, and not the company. It's always against the property itself. So, yeah, you just keep paying it. That's how you do it. No, guys, I'm not Jewish. Don't know why that matters. I've got corporate debt of $400,000 from 10 years ago. Will it ever disappear? Not if you were the director at the time. You're going to have to sell me that corporation. If the corporation has been shut down, we have to revive the corporation, and then I have to buy it from you to alleviate you of that entire debt. You got to get a hold of me on my website right now, kevinjjohnston.com. How do I get my personal tax owed down to zero? All I have is a T4. Utilizing the T2125 form, medical expenses, legal expenses, caregiver expenses, all kinds of really cool stuff that you can do. Oh, somebody's telling me it's called director's liability. Look it up under canada.ca. Yeah, it's civil law. And as I just said, you can backdate your step down. The CRA only has 2 years to pursue the director. That's all they get, period. Have I ever been convicted of tax fraud? Nope. No, because I don't commit fraud. I follow the law to the letter of the law. I'm going to tell you this, guys. I follow the Criminal Code of Canada. I obey that. Tax law is not law. It's a bunch of silly little rules that I have not signed up for. It's civil law, ergo it is contractual. And I've chosen not to contract. There you go. So I'll do what I want when it comes to civil rules. But I won't do what I want when it comes to the criminal code. You know, I want desperately to drive a bulldozer through every CRA office, but I won't do that because that's illegal. Let me think of some of the crimes. First off, where would I get a bulldozer? Possibly theft. I would be operating an unlicensed vehicle on the street, so that's got to be something, maybe a big ticket. And then driving it through the wall, destruction of property, vandalism. If someone gets hurt, what else? We've got assault. Someone dies, manslaughter. Yeah, it's dumb. I won't do that. But I will take millions of dollars away from them because that's just civil rules. If you want to deal with me directly, folks, website, not social media. My website. I do not have conversations on social media. I do not have conversations on WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, Facebook, or anywhere else. My website, kevinjjohnston.com. All right. We're down to our last 8 minutes here, folks. I'm going to check the YouTube room and see what we got. Should we not be asking government agents for their public hazard bonds or insurance? Well, sure, you can. They may give it to you, they may not, but there's no real advantage to you on that. What you want to make sure that you're doing is just get the person's name, phone number, and so on, so you can file criminal charges against them in the future. That's what you want to do. Leona, what should I do with my house before I die so my kids don't have to pay tax? Transfer it into a numbered corporation. You can be, let's say, a 95% shareholder. Split the other 5% up or 6% up between your kids. And in the corporate bylaws that I will create for you, all your shares default to your kids the day you die. No probate, no land transfer tax, no nothing. Personal residence, how should it be held? Numbered corporation, everybody. Never mind this whole thing about the fact that your personal house is going to be immune to, we call it capital gains. Mark Carney's going to change that. You know that, right? The Netherlands has got unrealized capital gains now as law. So they will be taxing you on the increased capital gain value of your property every year. They're going to do the same thing in Canada. If it's in a numbered corporation, you can simply transfer the ownership of the house to another corporation and completely avoid that nonsense, which you cannot do if it's in your personal name. Oh, for those who are curious about crypto capital gains, here's my advice. Shut up. You got crypto? Shut up. You trade every single day? Shut up. You bought Bitcoin for 10 bucks a coin and now it's worth what, $90,000? Shut up. You bought 10 million XRP? Good for you. Shut up. Stop talking about your crypto. It's private. There's no way for them to know. So stop telling them. The reason the CRA knows about your crypto or your house or your collector cars or your gold and silver and your property in Florida is because you told them. Shut up. Stop talking. Am I in Canada right now? I'll answer that question if you tell me why that matters. If a company amalgamated a company and previous debt goes to the new company, am I liable for that? We have to step you down as director. It's a legal process. It's a little pricey. It's like, I don't know, $2,900, I think it is. But once you're stepped down as director, then you can amalgamate the company and you are completely off the hook for the rest of your days. Is there a way to transfer your residence into a corporation to avoid land transfer tax? Yes. This is you on title. You add your corporation and the two of you are here together for a month and then you remove yourself. Congratulations. It's now been transferred. What does it cost to put a home in a corporation? If you do it yourself, nothing. If you have a lawyer do it, about $1,500. That's it. It's not much. And it's worth it. Believe me, folks, it is absolutely worth it. In reference to the Know Your Client, the KYC with crypto in Canada, they'll know that you have it, but they won't be able to get their hands on it. And they're only going to know what you bought through a Canadian exchange. They're not going to know what you bought through an American or a Malaysian or Singaporeese exchange. So just stop buying crypto from Canadian exchanges. It is that simple. Why is putting a personal home worth it into a corporation worth it? You can't be sued. That's number one. Let's say some idiot walks on your front porch and falls. Who's he going to sue? You or the corporation? He sues the corporation. The corporation owns the house. What does that corporation do? Transfers title to another corporation. The guy has to sue the original corporation that owned the house when he fell. Let's just say an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-lover, ex-somebody sues you and wins. They get your house. But not if it's in a corporation because they would have to sue the corporation. And a holding company does not conduct commerce, so it's never going to have a tax bill. That's why you do it. Okay. How am I so smart? Because I refuse to cooperate with the education system in Canada. Because I absolutely despise the idea of waking up and going to prison every day. And to me, school was prison. Even when I was in grade 3 and grade 4, I knew I was wasting my time. Long division, fractions. What did that have to do with anything? Memorizing provincial capitals is cool from the standpoint of being able to win in Trivial Pursuit. But unless there's a commerce portion to any of that, what's the point? You see, I got to grade 7. And in grade 7, I began noticing girls. All right, it's just how the hormones work. But the one thing I did pay attention to, you guys can look this up for yourselves, by the way. All right, look it up on Google. I went to St. Gerard Elementary School, which is right beside St. Martin of Tours Church. That's where I went to school. And in the St. Martin of Tours Church parking lot, there was this awesome dude, had a hot chick with him, had this beautiful Porsche. He had driving gloves on, black suit and tie. He looked cool. Everyone's looking at his car going, ooh, look at the hot chick he's got. Ooh, he gets in the car, spins his tires, and he's gone. I thought, that is so cool. I want that. And I thought to myself, how do I get a Porsche and a hot chick and nice suit and tie? How do I have a big house? I want more. Because my parents were not very smart people, and they had a really crappy house. It wasn't even humble. It was garbage. The house sucked. I hated it. I wanted better out of life than what my folks and my aunts and uncles had done and my cousins had done and so on. In fact, I come from a family where nobody had ambition and drive. Everyone wanted a job, and they spent their entire lives doing a job and then couldn't figure out why they were broke later in life. No, you see, I wanted early in life to be rich and have the cool stuff. And I knew I was never going to get there if I paid attention to what they were teaching me in school. So I began doing all my own research when I was young, really young. I realized that reading books that were written in the 30s, and the 40s, and the 50s were awesome. They were full of information. And by the time the 90s rolled around, books started getting crappy. The advice sucked. There wasn't an awful lot in there. I went back to reading all the old stuff. Anything that Dale Carnegie had to say, it's pretty much law. You guys got to read his stuff. So wanting to be wealthy pushed me down the road of learning a lot of stuff, because you cannot be wealthy unless you know a lot. The most important thing is how to maintain relationships, something that they do not teach you in school. They don't teach you in school how to tie a necktie, shine your shoes, groom yourself. They don't teach you the importance of shaking hands properly, how to write a resume, how to look for a job, why you would look for a job, why it might be better to be an entrepreneur, how to be an entrepreneur, how to register a corporation, how to defend yourself in a lawsuit, how to beat a speeding ticket in court. They didn't teach us any of this stuff. These are things that all of you need to know. But by the time you've wasted the first 18 years of your life in school, you don't know any of that. None of it. Then you go to college for 4 years and waste even more time learning about the 72 genders that don't exist and why you're supposed to hate white males. That's all you learn. Nothing of any value whatsoever. I do not want to be a member of the status quo. The status quo sucks. Being average sucks. Being broke sucks. All right? It sucks. I walked away from the entire status quo. I walked away from every single solitary friend that I have. I don't have friends anymore. I wanted success. I wanted money. I wanted to take my skill set and get out there and do what I do best. Can't do that when you've got Canadian friends who are always looking for favors, dragging you down. You can't learn any of what I know from any educational institution in Canada or the United States. One of the ways that I've learned a lot of things here, Ishmael, is I would buy dinners for really rich guys and just listen to them. When there's a super, super duper rich guy who wants to tell you a story, shut up and listen to everything. So it cost me a lot of time and money to sit there and listen to these stories. Not all of them were great, but some of them were. And some of the advice I got from these multimillionaires was phenomenal. Go to the people who are rich if you want to know how to be rich. Go to the hyper fit if you want to learn how to be thin and good looking. Okay? Don't go to a smoker for health advice. Don't go to a morbidly obese anyone to find out how to lose weight. Don't go to a broke individual. Don't go to your parents. If your parents are broke, don't go to them for financial advice. They're idiots. Don't go to your friends if they're not rich. If the person that you're going to for financial advice is at least not 10 times wealthier than you, they have nothing to offer you. Now, these are lessons I learned the hard way, but I'm glad I learned them. And I only go to the pros to learn. Who can be assigned as the director if I don't want to be the director? Mark Carney, Justin Trudeau, Donald Trump, Bugs Bunny. Pick one. It does not matter. Bagor says, it's funny how the CRA wants people to voluntarily tell them how much they made so they can tax them. Yeah, but it's even funnier how many people actually tell them. That's the worst part, is that people are cooperating and telling them this stuff. Julie, you're correct. Street smarts they're key. I have no respect for book smarts if the person doesn't have street smarts to go with them. And I know a lot of book smart people who like to be professional students. I'm not going to give you this chick's name, but there's a chick that I know. I've known her since I was 15 years of age. She was a student, University of Toronto, then McMaster for 4 years, then McGill, then Laurentian. By the time this chick was 44 years of age, she had never worked a day in her life, but she did have 6 degrees. What's the point of having 6 degrees? She just liked being a student. She liked learning and did nothing with it. So what would this 6-degree person do for money? Probably work at McDonald's. Why? No street smarts, no life smarts, a whole bunch of book smarts based on how clever the professor would have been at the time. That's it. Nothing to do with the curriculum. It's how clever was the professor and how well can the professor teach. I hate being a student. I can't stand it. I'd rather be the teacher. My friend owes $1 million tax bill for not filing for 20 years. Placed lien on his home. That guy better get a hold of me now because they'll take it. Get a hold of me. I'm serious. I will make that tax problem disappear. Where should you educate your children? Not in school. I mean that. Not in school at all. My folks, again, I'll just cover this quickly. This is a point of reference. This is not me telling you I hate my parents. I mean, I'm sad that they're dead. I am. I remember a lot of really good times with them, and I'm thankful, eternally grateful for them having sex without a condom on. That's why I'm here. So there are great things about my folks, few and far between, but still great things. Okay. But they had this thing in their heads. It was just, their minds were wrapped around me doing well in school. And I didn't do well in school. My father beat the ever-living shit out of me almost every day with a belt to get me to do better in school. It made me worse in school, and it made me a bitter, angry individual who wished death upon both of his parents. I wasn't going to cooperate with it. There was no way that you could beat me into submission. Everyone's tried, it never worked, period. Because, like I said, I wanted more out of life. My parents had a crap house. They had 2 crap cars. Everything that they owned was garbage. It sucked. They had crappy old clothes from the 1950s. Yet, they were telling me that they were the aficionados in education. They weren't. They knew nothing about the outside world. And they thought that school was going to do it for me. Well, you're going to have to find guys like me. Guys like maybe listen to everything Christopher Hitchens had to say, everything that Richard Dawkins has to say. You know, you got to find the geniuses and shove your kids in front of that. All that's available for free online. There is going to be a day when I develop some kind of education for kids, but I don't have time for it now. I would really love to create an education system for kids, one where you don't go to prison and do what you're told. You got to be in the door at 8. You got to sit down and shut up. And if you're too loud and too abrasive, you got to take drugs to calm you down so the female teachers can handle it. The other thing is, and ladies, I know you don't like this, but female teachers should not be allowed to teach boys after grade 3, period, because you can't handle boys. You just can't. All right. Like one of the funniest things that I remember is my mother, when she was still alive, you know, God rest her soul, love you, Ma. But when she was still alive, she accidentally bought chocolate-covered coffee beans and gave them to my son, who at the time was 9, and his little buddy was 9. And his little buddy, you know, he was a funny kid. He was a nice kid, all right? He had a learning disability, so with him, everything was funny. But that's okay because he was a jolly kid to have around. And there was this weird song on the internet called Narwhals. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard that one. It was Narwhals, it's a song. Now, these 2 kids are all hopped up on sugar, coffee beans coated in chocolate. And they sang this Narwhal song in the back seat of my now ex-wife's car for over an hour. When she gets out of the car, they're still singing it. And I'm thinking, like, Narwhals. Yeah, I know that song. I'm laughing because it's 2 boys singing in the backseat of a car, having an absolute blast. And I got about a 90-minute lecture on the fact that never again will she ever drive these 2 boys anywhere. Like, oh my God, you're talking about your kid there. What's the matter? It's 2 boys, loud, obnoxious boys, which is what boys are, loud and obnoxious all the time. That means they're freaking normal. So I got in the car and I said, yo, guys, sing it louder. I rolled the windows down. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And that's the point I want to make, is that boys are obnoxious, yet they are told in school, don't be. Sit down. Shut up. Don't be a problem. Why can't you be like the girls? I can't handle this. Oh. Yeah, I had female teachers who were like that. They couldn't handle a damn thing. What did I learn in their class? Nothing except resentment. That's all we learned. You don't medicate your kids, and certainly you don't want to send them into an institution where you've got some far left-wing nut chick trying to teach them that they're bad because they're male. I encourage every young man out there to be as masculine as possible. If you're a child, if you're a boy, go be as loud as possible. Run till your heart stops. Get on a bike and ride until you're dehydrated beyond reproach. Drink river water like I used to. Ride home, have dinner. Yeah, maybe have some diarrhea because the river water wasn't that good. You know, and then you guys have cameras. You can take pictures of your diarrhea and share it with each other online. I mean, imagine the old days. If I was to do that, I would have to take the film to a photo mat, have them print the thing out, and then wait a week to be able to show them that joke. You guys can do it instantly. Come on, boys, get out there, have fun, and encourage it. So how do we educate our boys? Fill their heads with knowledge for about 2.5, 3 hours a day tops, and then tell them, go burn yourself out. We were feral in the 1970s. We got on our BMX bikes and we disappeared all day. My mother on Saturday mornings would let my brother and I watch cartoons until about roughly 10:30. Then she'd grab a broom and she'd sweep us out there. Get out, get out. I'm going to clean this house out. Yeah. Yeah, we get the broom in the head, we get the broom in the ass, we get the broom everywhere until we had our shoes on and we were out the door. I realized, oh, wait, I'm thirsty. You know what I would do? I'd go to the friggin' garden hose and drink, jump on the bike, and we'd leave. And that would be about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. We would not come back until about 6 or 7 o'clock at night for dinner. Then we'd go outside and play hide and seek or tag. That's how you educate boys. You let them be free spirits. Keep them away from anything government and anything education-based. Homeschooling is great, but it's got to be done correctly. You got to have the patience for it. And if you don't absolutely love teaching your children new things, then don't homeschool. You got to find some other way to get them educated. The real answer is, folks, everything the education system is doing in Canada is meant to completely destroy the spirit of your boys. Don't let them do it. We need masculinity to return to our society. A lot of people are broke because we do not have hyper-masculine men trying to build the economy anymore. We've got a whole bunch of lost children. 40-year-old men living at home playing video games all the time. Why? Because we've been beating up males all this time, telling them they're bad because they're male. Yeah, and lying about statistics that don't even exist, and lying to men in general about absolutely every single inner working of the entire world. Then we went out of our way to say boys can be girls and girls can be boys, and oh man, it's insane. No, keep them away from all of that nonsense, period. Yeah, living paycheck to paycheck is not a life. I've been there, folks. This is my third time in life being wealthy. This particular time, I'm wealthier than I've been before, but I've been broke 3 times as well. And yeah, I agree. It sucks. It sucks. And sometimes you just got to pick up and leave where you are. I was broke beyond reproach in Canada. I'm rich in Panama. Why? Because my skill set is wanted and respected here. You got to go where you're treated best. That's the nomad capitalist says that. That's his slogan, and he's absolutely right. Aboud, would you please answer my question? Repeat your question, please. I'm just checking your questions here. Robbie says you had great teachers. I had one great teacher in elementary school, Mr. Hurley. I'll never forget him. The guy was fantastic. I had one fabulous teacher in high school, just one. And I had one fabulous teacher in high school. Sorry, college, I meant to say. That's it. The rest sucked. It's unfortunate. Don't Cry Me a River says rich people don't pay taxes. That's right. I'm wealthy and I don't pay a penny in tax. The difference between me and every other wealthy guy out there is I'm actually teaching all of you how to not pay tax anymore. All right, hold on. Your advice seems to cater more towards business owners. How can someone who earns a T4 income avoid a tax bill? T2125 form with lots of business expenses, medical expenses, legal expenses, caregiver expenses, utilizing a home office on the T2125 form to write off between 1/3 and maybe 2/3 of your entire property costs, all kinds of ways. I have plenty of ways to bring your personal tax debt down to zero. Alex says, I just sold my corporation to you this week. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, Alex. Pleasure doing business with you. All right. Okay. You got debanked by BMO? Yeah, some people are getting debanked. I know. It sucks. Tangerine, Coho, go to the United States with Relay. You can do that one online. relay.com, relay.com. Open a bank account here in Panama. They can't debank you here. Pathway. Do you file people's personal tax and corporate tax? Yep. And I'll do a very good job too. My net worth is over $10 million. Does that mean you're worth over $100 million? Not yet. Thank you very much, Barry, for that. I appreciate it. Not yet, but it's a goal. 100 million? It's doable. So long as I'm not in Canada and so long as I'm not paying tax. Where would you find a rich person that wants to accept your dinner invite? Well, that, my friend, is the difficult part. You actually have to be outside and socializing. You have to go to where the rich people are. You got to go to the trade shows where the rich people are. You've got to go to the private events where the rich people are and get yourself invited or crash the party if you have to. You got to look around for every single trade show where millionaires go, but also private meetings where they go and events where they go. I mean, I accidentally crashed a mayor's party once in Ottawa at the Big Chateau Hotel. I walked in with my cameraman, and we sat down at the table with the mayor of Vancouver and the mayor of Victoria. And they told us a whole bunch of secrets about how Western Canada runs. And they had lobster, and they had scallops, they had steak, they had everything. We loaded up and had a great meal. They eventually figured out who I was and kicked me out. But I got an opportunity to talk to these mayors. You just got to go sometimes. You just got to walk in sometimes. That's how life is. Joe, corporation didn't pay taxes or turn over the HST, close down and open another corporation. CRA put a lien on you. We have to revive the corporation that you shut down, and I got to buy it from you, and then I can kill all of your debt. Sean says, I have HST and payroll debt around $50K for business, also $100,000 in personal guaranteed loans. Yeah, it depends what province you're in. If it's in Alberta, I can get you out of those loans in about a week. If it's Ontario, it takes about a month and a half to get you out of those loans. But I would love to buy that corporation from you. I use e-transfer as a payment processor for my e-commerce business, and now BMO debanked you. Any advice? Well, yeah, you want to use PayPal, Stripe, Square. Use them all. I hate Square, but they still work. And you want to make sure that you're putting money into corporate bank accounts, not personal bank accounts. It might be that was a personal bank account. Again, no, ladies, I am not married. I'm not too sure why that comes up all the time. Every single show. Here we go. Bull run. Is your capital loss work on crypto that has 5 to 6 trades overall? Capital losses can be on any amount. I've got about $530 million in capital loss right now that I'm able to trade, sell, swap, and do whatever and get onto your ledger so that you don't pay any capital gains at any point in the future ever again. Some of it's crypto and some of it's just bad investment. Some of it's property investment that went wrong. So yes, I can transfer anybody a capital loss anytime. Yeah, Julie says, I know a lot of people with book smarts who have no achievements. True. So do I. Absolutely. Wealthy Peasant said they wanted to run their hands through my chest hairs in high school. Oh, it wasn't me. I swear to God, I never asked. Not once. Well, anybody who's coming to Panama, all right, you're going to have a great time here, folks. You really will. I love this country. I really do. Can you help me get set up in Panama? Yeah, well, that's what we do. We get corporations set up for people in Panama here so that they can start transferring their money down here to Panama, because there's absolutely no point whatsoever not being in Panama. There's just so much the country has to offer for gringos. There's a lot of money here. Like, this is a very rich country. The shopping malls here are going to blow your mind. The subway system is better than Toronto. There's a mall here that's a kilometer long. There's another mall here that takes almost an hour to walk through the whole thing because it's multi-leveled. It's got everything known to man. By the way, ladies, Victoria's Secrets is in every single mall in the city of Panama. So if you like underwear, here's the place to be. Can I escape bankruptcy or a consumer proposal for my personal guaranteed loans? Yeah. Consumer proposals are the worst thing in the world because your credit still sucks and you got to pay the bill. And anytime your creditors can say, give us more. And the trustee's job is to take more from you and give it to your creditors, not to help you out in any particular way. So you got to be very, very careful with that. Can you legally avoid the Canadian exit tax? There is no such thing. What they do, though, is if you tell the Canadian government you're leaving on a permanent basis, which I recommend you don't do, leave. I recommend that. Don't tell them. What they'll do is they go under the assumption that you've sold all your property. So what they'll do is they'll give you a tax bill based on the value of your property. How do you avoid that? Don't talk about it. Just leave. You don't have to say anything. Just freaking go. There you are. Real Blaze, I should move there like you too, but again, I have horses. What about the States? Well, I mean, I would gladly live in any of the Republican states. If you've got horses, what's wrong with Montana or Idaho or Eastern Oregon? Stay away from Portland, but Eastern Oregon's fine. Even Eastern Washington State. If you're in the Rockies or East, you're okay. Stay out of New York, stay out of California. That's for damn sure. Denver's not so great because it's very left wing. Stay out of Minnesota and you should be fine. Life is still very affordable in the United States. All right. I have 2 corporations I want you to buy or file. I need my personal tax done. Let me just take your corporations off your hand, my friend. Get a hold of me right now on my website, kevinjjohnston.com. You have 8 horses. Okay. If you're not planning on selling those for stew or for glue, maybe the United States is where you got to be. All right. There you go. Yeah, Montana's great. It feels like Alberta. So does North Dakota. Feels like Alberta. Highly conservative places. Very sparsely populated. No one's going to bother you. One of my debtors filed at the Supreme Court for the debts. What should I do next? Well, if it's corporate debt, sell me the corporation. It is that simple. I take it off your hands. Carly Fox, I want to work for you. Well, you sure about that? Nah, I don't know. Could you handle a 14-hour workday every single day? That's what I do. I mean, right now it's 11:21 p.m. I started my day this morning at 4:45. I mean, I think the first 45 minutes I walked around in a daze. I wasn't quite sure what planet I was on. But once I had my 3rd cup of coffee, I was fine. Could you do that? Now, this is one of the problems with me hiring people. If they don't have an entrepreneurial spirit, they can't really work for me, because if you want to try to work an 8-hour day with 2 15-minute breaks and a 1-hour lunch and so on, you're not going to get anything done. And in my view, there won't be any value to you. But if you're willing to work 10, 12, 14 hours until we have got everything balanced out in your department, in which case you would go down to regular hours, great. I'm hiring. Don't take it lightly, though. I'm not kidding. All right. When I tell you these things about me, I'm not kidding. All right. I think everyone thinks I'm joking all the time. I've given you this example before. I'm not a boozer. Now, I will join somebody in a toast or with a glass of wine. If somebody wants to toast a dead relative, if somebody wants to toast, in general, sure, I'll have a sip of wine. Now, the wine bottle starts to get poured in people's glasses. You've seen this before, right? Where everyone tops your wine up to about 1 centimeter below the top of the glass. How much wine would you like, Kevin? 1/8 of a glass, please. Oh, here you go. And they just fill the frigging glass. Yeah, I take the glass and I move it to the next guy beside me. I grab his empty one and I'll tell him, try again. I'm not kidding. I'm not going to drink a glass of wine. I'll have this much wine to join you in the toast because it's good manners to do so. But I'm not a big boozer. So I'm not kidding when I say anything. If I tell you that I'm going to be waiting for you 116 yards due east of 4th Street, that is exactly what I mean. It's not a euphemism for I'll be in the coffee shop. I don't do euphemisms, period. So if you want to apply to work with me, it's 14 hours a day, no breaks, no lunches. It's just work. But it pays well. And I'm not kidding. Cold Mackay, I do not know how to separate. Sorry, I don't know how you separate the personal from the corporation. I've taken money out of it. I don't care if you took money out of the corporation. I'm the first one to tell all of you, take money out of the corporation and say nothing about it. We're only at 34,000 likes, everybody. What's going on? Come on. Let's get to 50,000 likes. Double finger, two fingers. It's free to do. We've only got how many thumbs up here on Rumble? Come on, folks. We're only at 13. Let's get the thumbs up. Let's share this out to absolutely everybody. Kayleen says, Kevin, you rock. Everything you said, I agree with. The government systems on every level are corrupt. I hated school too, big time. Thank you very much for saying that. Bravo is asking me, how are the sunsets in Panama? I feel like dusk looks even more amazing out there. All right. It's an equatorial region. So we're between the Tropic of Cancer and the equator, which means you get 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night every single day. When the sun goes down, it's not like in northern Ontario or northern Alberta or so on, where you get that long, drawn-out sunset where the sky goes from blue to purple to orange to red and so on. You don't get that. The sun is over the horizon. It turns a nice orange for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it's gone. It's gone. That's just how it is. You get 12 and 12. And that's the one thing about being in Latin America that I don't like is I used to get in Calgary 18 hours of daylight during June, July, and some of August. I do miss the long days. But at the same time, I do not miss the politics of Canada at all. I don't miss being broke in Canada. I hated every minute of that. So here we are. I'm very happy where I am. I have a business that deals with First Nations having big trouble with the CRA, and they're holding HST. So are they holding your HST that you have to report, or are they holding their own? All right. All right. Julie says you got that right. You got to be wild and crazy and ready for anything. Yeah. Not only that, you got to enjoy conflict. You always got to be ready for the fight, no matter what. $1 Million Dreams. I work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I respect that. I hope you're getting paid for it. Poor Jat says, I've got $500,000 in HST returns as a corporate tax has not been filed. You got to sell me that company. I'm going to take that debt away from you. It's my name, Kevin, middle initial J, last name is Johnston, JOHNSTON.BIZ. Yes, the wealthy peasant says he used to work 18 hours a day and he walked to school uphill both ways. You forgot to mention in the snow. All right, Jojo, if you buy losses of a corporation, how do you use them? Don't the losses need to be the same business? No. Nope. I can move the losses to any corporation that I want. I can amalgamate the corporation with any number of corporations that I want and make the debts even bigger. I can run the corporation if I choose to. Once the corporation's mine, I'm going to get rid of that debt somehow, but only to my own advantage and not the CRA's advantage. Do I smoke ganja? I do not smoke ganja. No. I get this really stupid look on my face when I do. I've tried it a couple of times, and I'll sit down in a corner and stare at nothing and think about nothing and achieve nothing. And when you are thinking about nothing, you will become nothing. So weed is not for me. Thank you. I will decline any offers. When I can't sleep at night, I work. I can handle long hours, no problem. Okay, Carly, let's talk. Talk to me on my website, please. Do not talk to me through social media. I do not communicate through social media. It's all through my website. Marie says, how do I get out of a continuation payment on my consumer proposal? You got to make me your legal agent, and then I will get rid of that stupid consumer proposal. I sold a house and then bought one personally. Well, don't worry about that. We just move it into a numbered corporation for you. That's all. All right. Yeah, for those who are asking me about the American Bank, it's relay.com. RELAY, relay.com. They're a very good bank. All right. All right. By the way, Kevin, I only have one child, and his name is Kevin. Is that me? Are you talking about me? Are you my long lost mummy that I don't know about? Let me know. All right. Just having a look here. Did you set up a realtor yet? Set up a realtor? I'm not a realtor. No, I don't want to be a realtor. Not sure what that means. Maybe rephrase the question, please. What does it cost to move a house into a corporation, into a numbered corporation? How long does it take? You got to register the numbered corporation with me. That's $19.50 plus HST. And if you're going to move it into the corporation, depending on the province, you could do it yourself or pay a lawyer about $1,500 to transfer it, and you're done. That's all that it is. Sarah, inheriting rental properties, how to get rid of the taxes on both sides. I hate to say it this way, but make me your tax guy, and I'll file all the appropriate paperwork to ensure that not only do you get everything tax-free, but you're not even going to be listed as the executor. You'll not be held liable for anything the CRA says that you are liable for. Just because they say you're liable doesn't mean you are. Just because they say you owe money doesn't mean you do. You owe whatever I say you owe, and typically that's zero. What does it cost to make you my legal agent for a consumer proposal? I got to see your file. I have to see your file. Whatever a lawyer is, I guarantee you it's going to be about a fifth of the price, but I really got to see your file. Please get a hold of me on my website, not social media, kevinjjohnston.com. All right, everyone. We're down to our last couple of minutes here. Let me just check the Rumble room. All right. Do I have recommended reading for how to configure your first corporation? No. You see, that's the thing, I don't. Because all my tax strategies, I've had to invent them myself. Why? Because there's no strong men left in our society that can actually teach these things. They're all afraid of the CRA. Everybody wants to quote the rules. And I've had a lot of CPAs listen to my tax theorem, and they get angry with me. No, you can't do that. You got to take column A, you got to move it to column C, and you got to report everything. That's how they talk. I was recently lectured by a 24-year-old guy who's fresh out of college telling me how wrong I was about taxes in the CRA. And I said, look, kid, you keep talking like that, you're going to be broke for the rest of your life. If you honestly think that you're correct, then tell you what, I'll stay rich doing it my way, and you stay poor. How's that sound? You quote the law all you want. Because if you're quoting tax law, you're not quoting a law. You are quoting rules. And rules are made to be broken, especially when you didn't sign up to play in the game that they're forcing you to play. Everything the CRA does is contractual. That's it. It's contractual. I've elected not to contract with the CRA. I've elected not to tell them anything about my personal life. And I've elected not to pay taxes on the millions of dollars that I have made. I'm not going to now, and I'm not going to ever. And I keep challenging the CRA, do something about it. Do something about it. And they won't do a damn thing except tell me how callous I am and how rude I am. No, we don't like you, Mr. Johnston, because you say mean things. I got a cease and desist letter from the CRA telling me I'm not allowed to insult them. Good luck with that one. They said we may involve the police. Call them, man. That would be amazing to have the police. Think about this. If the cops were to charge me and arrest me for giving the CRA a difficult time, I would be going on the stand asking or answering every question about the CRA, but then they still have to go on the stand and give their side of the story. I get to grill them for days. I would call a 50-day trial and put them all on the stand. They won't charge me because they don't want to go on the stand. They don't want to make a public spectacle about it, and they don't want to lose another case. That's why. So CRA, take your letters and shove them right up your ass. I'm not doing anything that you say. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show that runs absolutely every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, yeah, right here on freedomreport.ca. I love you all. And good night.